can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall. Delighted as always to be joined by Owen, and we're here previewing, giving our final predictions, I beg your pardon, for a big domestic cruiserweight clash this Saturday night in Glasgow, as Aloys Jr. looks to continue his good run of form against former British title challenger David Jamieson at the OVO Arena on the undercard, of course, of Josh Taylor's comeback fight at welterweight against Echo Esserman. So yeah, this one, cruiserweight division, on Aloys Jr. on a streak since losing his pro debut against former British title challenger David Jamieson. We won't mess about. We'll get straight into it. What is your final prediction for this one?
Thank you for having me as always. It's a tough one. This, I think Aloys Jr., like you say, he started his career the worst way possible, and I think he's nine victories, 8 knockouts. So he's knocking everyone out at the moment. David Jamieson's obviously been stopped twice. It's probably a bit of a step up in opponent for Aloys Jr., but I am going to pick Aloys Jr. knockout. As I say, I think David Jamieson's been stopped a couple of times in his 3 losses. So I can see Aloys Jr. coming in to make a statement, coming in heavy-handed, looking for that knockout and finding it relatively early as well. I can't see it going past 4 or 5 rounds myself.
Interesting, interesting. I might surprise you here, but I'm gonna go the other way. I think Jameson might get it done here, to be honest with you. You know, Aloys Jr. since that loss has improved in my opinion. Still very flawed though. He has positives. He's strong as an ox. He looks like he's carved from stone, doesn't he? Really, he's explosive. He's quick, and yeah, he's heavy-handed. A little bit flat-footed, little bit defensively sloppy still. I just haven't been overly impressed with. Not that I haven't been overly impressed. I just think this might be a little bit too soon for him to fight someone like David Jamieson, who's of course shared the ring with top quality domestic operators like Chev Clark, Mikel Lawal. Gave Lawal a really good fight second time around. It was only the gruesome injury that forced a stoppage in that one, and yeah, stopped by Chev Clark. No shame in that, but they're much higher names than what Aloys Jr. has shared a ring with. So I just think David Jameson, I think he might set a pace that Aloys Jr. will struggle with down the stretch. As you say, it's a good point though. If it does go past the 4 rounds, I think Jameson will take over with his kind of aggression. It's one thing that's worried me about Aloys Jr. is how big he actually is, and if that fight does go, if fights do go the distance, 10 or 12 rounds, how his gas tank will hold up. Will he be too big? That's a worry for me. So I'm going for David Jameson to weather an early storm and win the decision here. It might surprise a few people watching, but it could be made a fool of. But yeah, that's boxing. That's opinions at the end of the day. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So yeah, just a quick one before we kind of wrap up here on Aloys Jr. You're going for the stoppage here for Aloys Jr. What do you think his ceiling is? He is on a good run now, but if he does get past Jameson, can you see him kind of beating the likes of a Chev Clark, Vidal Riley, that British level, or even beyond? How do you see his career kind of planning out?
I think, like you say, there is definitely major flaws there with him. The size is always going to be a question. He's massive, but he's not massive in stature in terms of height wise. So it's all that muscle he's got. Can he go in 9, 10, 11, 12 round? Not necessarily slugfest, but when there's a quick pace, when, like you say, if someone sets a pace nice and early, if they end up going toe to toe at stages. So I think that the Chev Clark fight looks more and more realistic by the day. I think if Aloys Jr. gets the win here, Chev Clark's on back-to-back losses. Obviously the split decision loss in Monte Carlo to Mosquea, however you say it, and then the correct, comfortable, unanimous decision loss to Vidal Riley. So Chev Clark needs a rebuild. I think he was being billed as not necessarily a star, but someone who was going to be an issue in the cruiserweight division. And obviously that's been majorly set back. So Aloys Jr., can he go above British level? I think we need to see him in an actual fight before we can decide that. If he, if he cruises through David Jamieson but doesn't get the stoppage, then yeah, he can definitely step up. But if we might see him get a victory with a lot of flaws, we might see him get comfortably beaten. So I think his ceiling, there is definitely a ceiling there. I think you'd be probably talking British level, European at a push, but I think it would be interesting if he does get this win. Will we see him in with Chev Clark? And then we'll definitely know where he is.
I think it's a great fight next if he is to get past Jameson. I think it's a fight that makes sense. Real crossroads fight, as you say. Chev Clark on a big
Mhm.
rebuild here, and yeah, just another point you made there as well. If he does blast through David Jamieson, I would be impressed. I think that'd be a statement if he
Mhm.
was to run through Jamieson. I really would. But yeah, Chev Clark makes sense. And but as you say, until we see that, until we see those step through the levels where we're still undecided. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one this Saturday night. That's myself and Owen's final predictions for this weekend's intriguing domestic cruiserweight clash between Aloys Jr. and David Jamieson. The hometown man David Jamieson at the Over Arena in Glasgow, Scotland. Of course, the return of Josh Taylor in the main event. So, yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Myself and Owen are split, so let us know what you think down below. Get involved. Please drop a like on the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. Follow us on all social media. And yeah, Owen, it was a pleasure and take care.
Cheers, mate.